I'm painting a commission that needs a galaxy painting in the background, so figured I'd do a little tutorial. For this painting, you're going to need an airbrush paint, a mask for safety, a filter for mixing your own paints, not needed if you're not going to mix your own, some white acrylic paint, a cup for your white paint, a spray bottle, preferably a smaller one, some brushes, a soft and maybe a textured one, a toothbrush, and of course a canvas. I just painted my canvas black, but you can also start with a black canvas. So I'm starting out with a black canvas, painted black, starting out as black, whichever you can do, and you just want to make a bunch of white streaks in pretty much any shape you want, but it's good to have kind of a central line that you then branch out with. And here I'm basically just using a watered down white and then spraying it with a little spray bottle. The smaller one's better because it doesn't have as much water that sprays out all at once, and then dabbing in that white from the center of each line outward, basically to try and blend it into the black background. So you'll definitely be fighting gravity with these drips. You want to try and find a balance of the water level, the water to paint ratio. But if you don't, it's fine. You can always clean up the drips like this. And I think any brush will really work for this, but I like to use a softer brush so that the fades are a little bit softer. And if you get too much paint on your brush while you're going, it seems like too much, then just wipe it off. That way you have a little more control where the paint is going because you don't have too much paint on your brush. It can just be smearing what's already there. Now it's time for a little airbrush action. So I'm starting out with just a white paint. It's going to allow for an extra bit of fade from what you were already doing. The first layer that you were painting with a brush is going to be a little bit more textured of a fade, and this one's going to be a softer fade. So I'm basically putting white over all of it. So now I'm cutting out a little bit of a textured paper to add some more texture to the painting. I found that this step didn't really yield the best results. It was fine. It didn't necessarily help or hurt, so feel free to skip. But if you don't have a Cricut and you still want to do this step, you can hand cut some random shapes out with an X-Acto knife or something. And now I'm using some watered down white paint to flick some stars onto the painting. This is really easy to do, and I would prefer a toothbrush because the bristles are stiffer, and you can't go overboard with the stars. So now we're going back to the airbrush to layer a bunch of colors in instead of just the black and white. I would start with the darker colors and put them closer to where the black is, and as you get closer to the white sections, go to your lighter colors. You can use blues, purples, different tones of purples, and kind of a pink for the middle. So now I'm trying to mix up my own colors for this airbrush, which if you've used an airbrush before, you know sometimes that causes a lot of clogs. I found this little filter that really helped get rid of a lot of the clogs and made airbrushing a lot smoother. So as you see, I'm going a little bit heavy on the colors, and the pink kind of tone is going closer to where the white is, and the more white you put on in the beginning, the more that color will be brought out. And so you really want the pink in the center of each of those white streaks, with it going into the purple and blues as it gets to the black of the canvas. I flicked some more stars on there. You can never have too many stars, and you can do that in between each layer. So now I'm going back in with another blue, and we're really just going back and forth airbrush and stars. So I'm going right on the edge where the black meets kind of the fade of the white and pink color, and just adding a little bit more color to the empty black space. This next part might kind of hurt you because you might be in a place where you like the painting, but we're going to take your water and spray it on the canvas. It's very important you spray first, and then take some watered down white paint, and you're going to dab the white over the sprayed areas. You want to keep to the center streaks that you've been making, and as the paint dissipates with the water, if you're able to put your canvas flat, it might yield a better result, but mine was too big to lay flat on a table, so I'm dealing with gravity, and you just want to fade those streaks back out. And this created a wistful, wispy kind of nature and brought all those star clusters into the center even better. It looks like there's way more stars now, and you can put stars back over the top of it. There's never too many stars. hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please leave them down below, and like, share, do all those things, and check out my other videos. Thanks for watching.